Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. It is Krista and this is the Radical Angel, Esoterica. Thanks for joining me. So in continuing with the series on astrology, I hope that you enjoyed your sun sign series. So let's begin the moon signs. So this is for Aries, moon in Aries. So I'm going to be referring to a couple of different items here. They will be listed in the description box below for you. But a lot of it is just information that I've gathered throughout the years because I'm just genuinely interested in this subject. So let's dive right in. So moon in Aries. So I want to begin by talking a little bit about what the moon is, what it represents, what it's ruled by, and then Aries, your sign. So the moon is ruled by Cancer. Cancer is also a cardinal sign like Aries, but it is a water sign. So this is more in the emotional realm than it is in the realm of, fire and action, which is what you rule. You're ruled by Mars. So Aries in Cancer ruled moon is a little bit uncomfortable. It could feel as though it's uncomfortable in its emotions or that it gets explosively moody. Again, the reason is because you're in a sort of, Aries being a fire sign is in sort of a watery, intuitive, a little bit of a passive element. So you could feel a little bit out of sorts depending on what your sun and rising signs are, obviously. But you can do something about that. You could use it to your advantage. So one thing to look out for example, in the Aries in moon ruled Cancer ruled moon, is that you're just going to have to watch out for the tendency to be impatient, not only with other people and their emotional responses, but your own. Like I said, you may feel a little bit out of your element, which is literally what's going on. It's fire and water. So things could get really steamy. You could get fired up really easily. You also could want to take on things, begin projects, especially ones that are of an artistic nature or even having to do with the family or the home, and then have them put on the back burner relatively quickly because, as I said, you're dealing with two cardinal signs, which just means that these are very active in terms of getting something going, getting something moving, getting something started, not necessarily following through, which would be what the fixed signs are really good at. So just beware that when you're tackling something new and you begin with passion, to make sure that it's something that you want to follow through with, or give yourself, some passes when it comes to following through with it if you've begun it while the moon was moving through any of the water signs. So you're going to be fine as long as the moon is running through the fire signs. You're going to feel charged up. And as we know, the moon changes signs every 2.5 days. So this is why it's so fast moving. You could begin something, say, on the 20th, and by the 22nd, you're in Taurus, and you just want to, the moon is in Taurus, and you just kind of want to relax, maybe put on the back burner, maybe do a little bit more daydreaming. But ultimately, the moon in Aries is not necessarily at home, but you can still use it to your advantage. So you're going to watch out for the tendency to be impatient, impulsive, or stress-orientated, and like I said, to lose interest in something that you've just begun. Make sure it's something that it's an ongoing project that's going to really pique your interest over time, or really has an emotional setting for you. This is going to help you continue moving in that direction. So some of the bright side or bonuses to the moon in Aries is that you're energetic, you're enterprising, optimistic, open to change, and idealistic. You're actually, the Aries as a sign, as the Mars ruled sign, is quite energetic, very courageous, extremely optimistic, a go-getter. In the moon, you could be more opinionated, domineering. And like it's saying in sort of both areas here, there's an impatience, not only with other people, but with yourself. So really, if you have your moon in Aries, for example, depending on what your sun and rising signs are, you might want to make allowances for yourself for that. Just give yourself a little bit of wiggle room when it comes to how you express your emotions and how people affect you, or how, in other words, you let people affect you. And you can use this to your advantage, like I said. You will be outspoken still, and this will be more from an emotional element. You're going to be very outspoken, very nonchalant about what you're saying, and worried about feelings after the facts. Again, it's not necessarily a negative thing. It just depends on who you're working with and who's going to be the recipient of that message. And I find the moon in Aries people are more than likely going to be attracted to other other fire signs, even if they're in sun or rising. So what I mean by that is that even if you are, say, a Pisces sun, so a watery sun sign, and your moon is in Aries, you're still going to be attracted emotionally to Aries sun sign, or even Leo or Sagittarius sun sign individuals, because they're going about their lives and behaving in a way that emotionally appeals to you. As I said, even if let's just say your sun was in an earth sign, you would still be attracted to other fire sign elements. You might be a little bit more serious or pragmatic about how they attract you or the type of person who attracts you, but it's still all about their energy. So with that being said, you're going to be more attracted to other fire sign, moon, and sun signs. I also want to talk a little bit about some famous people with their moon in Aries, just because I know when I first started learning this material, it really helped me understand just by virtue of my heroes and people that I've looked up to, or just famous people in general, and what appealed them to me. And I was amazed sometimes at how much we had in common, or how much I agreed with them more often than not. And it's usually because their sun sign was compatible with my moon sign. So again, about your emotions, your emotional connections, your emotional commitments. It's considered the dark side or the hidden personality. And I said it's ruled by Cancer, which is 4th house. This is often more often related to intuition, the mother, security, intuition. So in saying that, maybe think on some things. If you get an intuitive response from someone or a situation, maybe because that's going to be sudden, and that's going to be, you might even consider that a challenge. Depending on the environment, if it's a work environment, great. If it's a personal or interpersonal environment, maybe just sit on it for a little while and consider all the elements before emotionally reacting to something. So let's finish off with some famous people with their moon in Aries. Some of the major ones here are Salvador Dali, Isadora Duncan, Bill Gates, Whitney Houston, Friedrich Nietzsche, Stevie Wonder, and Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis. So these are kind of unforgettable people. These are people who have enormous presence. Again, regardless of their sun signs, these all have different sun signs. The fact that they are fearless, and that they're going to follow their intuition, they're going to follow their emotions, their emotional world. And again, Cancer, 4th house, intuition, it's a very feminine energy as opposed to the masculine Mars. You could find a lot of very artistic people or artistic tendencies in this placement. So that is your moon in Aries. I hope that you enjoyed that. Comment below. Let me know if you are a typical moon in Aries person, if you had some things to add to this, or if you have any questions. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, like and share my videos. That really helps me out. And thanks again for watching. Take care, everybody. Bye for now.